Imagine pouring out your grief and anger, only to be met with violence. That's what happened in Mexico City recently, where Gen Z protesters clashed with police, leaving over 120 people injured. The spark? Outrage over the assassination of a courageous mayor and simmering discontent with the current administration's security policies. But here's where it gets controversial. Were these protests a genuine outpouring of public frustration, or something more orchestrated? Thousands of people, primarily young members of Generation Z, but also supported by older members of opposition parties, took to the streets of Mexico City to voice their disapproval of President Claudia Sheinbaum's government. While Sheinbaum enjoys approval ratings exceeding 70% since taking office in October 2024, her administration has faced increasing scrutiny regarding its handling of security, particularly in the wake of several high-profile murders. The immediate catalyst for the demonstration was the brutal assassination of Carlos Alberto Manzo Rodriguez, the mayor of Uruapan in Michoacan State. Manzo Rodriguez, who bravely spearheaded a campaign against drug trafficking in his town, was murdered on November 1st. His death served as a stark reminder of the pervasive violence plaguing Mexico and the perceived failure of the government to address it effectively. He was killed because he was a man who was sending officers into the mountains to fight delinquents, explained Rosa Maria Avila, a 65-year-old real estate agent who traveled from Michoacan to participate in the protest. He had the guts to confront them. This sentiment resonated deeply with many protesters who feel increasingly vulnerable and unprotected. The demonstration, initially peaceful, took a violent turn when, according to Mexico City security chief Pablo Vasquez, a group of hooded individuals began to commit acts of violence. The resulting clashes between protesters and police resulted in injuries to at least 120 people. 100 police officers sustained injuries, with 40 requiring hospitalization for bruises and cuts. 20 protesters were also reported injured. Andres Massa, a 29-year-old business consultant, carried the pirate skull flag, a symbol increasingly associated with Gen Z protests worldwide. "We need more security," Massa stated, echoing a common demand among the demonstrators. They marched to the National Palace, the residence and workplace of President Sheinbaum, and attempted to breach the metal fences surrounding the building. Police responded with tear gas and fire extinguishers to contain the protesters, who retaliated by throwing projectiles. "This is how you should have protected Carlos Manzo," some protesters reportedly shouted, directing their anger at the security forces. And this is the part most people miss. The government's response to the protests has been equally contentious. In the days leading up to the demonstration, President Sheinbaum accused right-wing parties of attempting to infiltrate the Gen Z movement and of employing social media bots to inflate attendance. "It is a movement promoted from abroad against the government," she claimed. Such accusations have further fueled tensions and raised questions about the government's willingness to engage with legitimate concerns. But is Sheinbaum's claim true? Is this a genuine grassroots movement fueled by legitimate grievances? Or is it a politically motivated attempt to destabilize the government? Or could it be a complex mix of both? It's a question that demands deeper investigation and raises important questions about the state of democracy in Mexico. What do you think? Are these protests a legitimate expression of public anger? Or is there more to the story?